The Investment in Pakistan lunch, hosted by the Pathfinder Group. Welcome to all our guests, especially our distinguished honored guest, Finance Minister, Senator Aurangzeb. Thank you very much for coming. As you know, we've been doing this now for over 2 decades by the Pathfinder Group, and we're very honored to have Olivier Schwab over here from the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum has been a consistent partner both for the Pathfinder Group but also for Pakistan as well. So thank you. Olivier serves as the managing director at the World Economic Forum, and I think of particular note for me is he's always been head of the technological innovations that the World Economic Forum has been pushing. So thank you very much, Olivier, for joining. I'd like to start with you.
We're so grateful for Pathfinder's Group, a long-standing partnership with the World Economic Forum, stretching now, I think, 30 years, over 30 years. And so thank you, Ikram and Zarrar, for your long-standing commitment. And when you first started coming to Davos, I was actually a student driving around the limousine in the early 90s. So a lot of time has passed since then. And the theme of this annual meeting this year is collaboration for the intelligent age. And collaboration we need. One of the flagship initiatives I'd like to highlight here is the Edison Alliance. This is a collaboration to foster digital inclusion, which has already achieved its objective to connect 1 billion people to essential services like healthcare, education, finance, to digital platforms. And Pathfinder Group has been one of the leaders in this initiative, also with its project, the Asaan Mobile Account scheme, which provides financial access to the impoverished and vulnerable communities in Pakistan, and has catalyzed that. And I understand the scheme has already, in a very few years, closed on 12 million accounts. So congratulations for that.
Thank you, Zarrar. Thank you, Ikram Sahab. Greatly appreciate Pathfinder Group's invite, and it's a real pleasure to be here this afternoon. Over the last 12 to 14 months, we have moved and made significant progress in terms of macroeconomic stability. It's evidenced by various matrices, which you have all seen, whether it's our FX reserves, which had dipped down to 2 weeks of import cover. They are a little over 2 months of import cover. We have a stable currency. We have gotten to a situation with respect to the twin deficits, which have been the bane of our country for the longest time. The other thing is, with respect to the fund discussion, I think there was really 2 things which we decided under Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's leadership right away, that we have to, on the back of the 9-month SBA, that we have to get into an extended and larger program, really for 2 reasons. One, to bring permanence into the macroeconomic stability, and the other is to execute structural reforms. So there is no rocket science. There is nothing, that we have to go and look for policy prescriptions. And it's fine. Everyone has their views and they want to give their views. But any country which is hovering in terms of tax to GDP, 9 to 10%, it's Econ 101, that we have to start moving it into double digit so that we can get into Committee of Nations and try to bring some level of semblance in terms of the fiscal discipline. We are still hanging on to things which are devolved subjects. There's no reason that we have to have these ministries. There are 43 ministries, 400 attached departments. We are taking 5 ministries at a time, looking at the attached departments, making decisions, taking it to the cabinet, taking it to the PM, getting decisions, and then looking at their implementation. So we are now at sort of wave 4. So 15 ministries are already done. You've seen some of the ministries which are going to be abolished, some of the ministries which are going to be merged, some of the departments which are going to go away. 150,000 vacancies in the federal government have been abolished. So these are all things which are not in the planning, have already been announced, and we want to cover all of this by the time we get to June.
It's an honor to be here, and I want to thank the Sehgal family for inviting me here. And I also want to say it's an honor to be on the stage with the Honorable Minister and Mr. Schwab earlier, and the others. Officials, business leaders often aim to attract investment from the international community by making pitches to foreign interlocutors about why it's worth investing in Pakistan. And the pitch revolves around a number of things, and that might include things like Pakistan's untapped mineral reserves, its textile industry, its large and young population, its fledgling tech sector, and so on. I would argue, though, there might be a shortcoming here, and that is that today, if you look at the world around Pakistan, in the region and beyond, other countries and investors, particularly those from the West and the Gulf that are key Pakistani targets for investment, they are already doing a lot of investing, and with more levels of confidence and comfort in other countries in Asia that have these same assets that Pakistan singles out in its pitches to investors. As we look at how the world operates today, as we look at how Washington operates today, as we look at Pakistan's place in the region and in the world, I think it's worth having some useful conversations. And it's not my place to be saying what should be at the forefront of those conversations. What should be Pakistan's story? What can it offer to the world? There's much that it can offer, I'm sure, but it might be time, now might be a useful time to think more about that.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Ikram Saab and Zarrar, for inviting me over. And thank you for everyone for attending here. It's an honor to be here. But very specifically, if you look into the tech sector or IT sector, or in just general in the digital sector of things have been progressing well, but I think we have a tremendous opportunity. I think we have barely tipping the surface of it. Although we're growing probably one of the fastest sector, I think even in this year, we have been growing 28% on the exports in the first 6 months, and we're going to continue to probably accelerate that. And one of the big positive, I would say, is across the board. What I felt so heartwarming is there's such an alignment at all levels. And finance ministry, I can tell one, but from a PM and down to every sector you think about it, everybody knows this is the sector that we have to continue to do more. This is the sector we're going to continue to invest in. This is a sector we can easily get there. We are the only sector that probably has the biggest trade surplus in the country, and we'll continue to do that. We all are there, and everybody wants to do this thing. Nobody wants to commit. We presented our own sectoral plans to the Prime Minister, and within 2 hours, I think Prime Minister was so, he's just like, this is exactly what we want to do, how we want to do it. And he makes sure that every month we give them a monthly report, and he actually religiously do that. And I don't think there's any Prime Minister of a country asks for an IT report in every 30 days. But our Prime Minister does, because he's very passionate about it, and we see a lot of opportunities.
Whether it's local investors, whether they're foreign investors, basic thing that they are looking for is a policy framework, and even more importantly, policy continuity. And that's what we have to deliver. You are just focusing on one aspect of it, which is FX and currency, which is important. But the issue for us is that administration after administration after administration, we do not follow through, and we have that lack. So that is what we have to address. I mean, if the existing investors cannot get their money out, right? Because when you go into these boom and bust cycles, and you go into, I can tell you as a banker, right? I mean, we went into essential, non-essential regime. People could not get, materials in to sort of get things going. Then letters of credit came back in. The contracts started coming through in. But I've been very open, right? I mean, May and June, we cleared the entire backlog. When you talked about American Business Council, the Overseas Chamber, etc., right? Now, we just have to ensure that this does not happen again. That is what we need to ensure. As far as I'm concerned, government has no business in being in business. Private sector has to lead, and private sector, wherever private sector has led, right, that is where people have made the most progress. Now, in terms of the individuals who have, they have to be acknowledged. I fully agree. We should acknowledge Mr. Ikram Sehgal in a very big way.
Yeah. Do you have a mic, please? Mike?
Well, thank you very much for your comments. I would just like to repeat what a few years ago former Prime Minister of Pakistan said. He said, let it be in the private sector, as if the government gets into it, even this will not happen.
Yeah, that's right. I also fully agree with it. Keep the government out as much as you can.